Intelligence is a superpower. Inner peace is a superpower, or a luxury for some. Happiness is a superpower, especially with how I see many people living their lives these days. Self-control is a superpower. Class, fulfillment, self-awareness, clarity, self-actualization, and peak performance and flow state are all superpowers, especially at the masterful level that we are referring to today. Magnetism is a superpower. Metacognition is a superpower. Metacognition, most certainly, that is amongst the greatest superpower of them all, in my personal and correct and humble opinion. Working with your subconscious in the right way gives you greater and more consistent access to these superpowers. And superpowers, much like all admirable qualities of the human spirit or psyche, come in varying levels or degrees. And just like with any assessment, you want to be at the higher end consistently, or like any scale or spectrum. Which is especially true for the more business-oriented amongst you, because all of the qualities, traits, and states I mentioned actually directly impact not just your overall success and satisfaction in life, but your very practical bottom line. And why be at 60% capacity, as many people actually are without realizing, because they have never known any different, when with a few flips of a switch, you can be at 100. Am I right? Trick question, guys. I often am. When I worked on my subconscious to change my programming around money and business, for example, I've done it for many things. When I did it for business is when I made my first 100K month. It is also incidentally when I got over a very wet, very teary, and very ugly few days of loneliness. Loneliness that, funnily enough, completely disappeared, after which I never ever felt lonely again, despite being extremely single. Actually, come to think of it, the loneliness left right around at the same time the 100K showed up. So maybe my soulmate is money? Anyway, moral of the story, reprogramming your subconscious can bring you incredible, incredible benefits in every area of your life. From mental health, which is what I initially started reprogramming mine for, to business, to love, with far less effort than you likely think. And this is our topic for today. And we will go into loneliness another day for any of you lonely hearts out there, and how it really is just a signpost leaning home. So stay tuned for that. So in this article, podcast, or video, however it is you are tuning in, we are going to be looking at why working with and reprogramming your subconscious and mind can solve quite realistically all your personal and professional problems and give you superhuman abilities. And I mean superhuman abilities like peak states and self-actualization that have actually been scientifically studied, that help you surpass any previous limits or abilities personally and professionally. Superhuman abilities that are also responsible for instantaneous healing, feats of genius, and those times when you feel like you are on top of the world. Exciting times ahead. Let's go. So the first thing that you have to understand is that the mind is God. More specifically, the conscious mind is the God, and the subconscious mind is the goddess. Though we won't be unpacking the historical marginalization of the feminine principle within theological and philosophical traditions today. And please, I don't want any atheists arguing with me in the comments, okay? Take it as a metaphor. So the mind is the nucleus of your existence. Every single result or outcome you have had, every single achievement or outcome humanity has ever had, started first in the mind. Every product, every creation, every business, all of it was first an idea or a thought in the mind. So your mind is HQ, the control center, the CEO. Your mind can take you to heaven or get you lost in proverbial hell, either through your state or through your choices. It can be the source of your greatest pleasure, joy, and success, or the reason for your poor health, barren relationship, failures, and misfortune. Because all problems all actually begin in your mind. And you can totally argue with me in the comments about this. I love it, really. And the mind is also where they end, or they can end. Psychonumerology is a more recent brand of science that studies the connection between health, immunity, and positive mental states, drawing correlations concluding that the more positive an individual is, the healthier they are. In the Quran, it is said, indeed, Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. And the Bible says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, reflecting similar. Long before neuroscience and psychology even existed, ancient traditions understood what modern psychology and quantum physics now confirms, that behaviors and outcomes are governed by inner states. And inner states do not come from conscious effort alone, thank goodness, because conscious over-efforting is literally why everyone is tired. And modern psychology also echoes the same truth. As Carl Jung famously put it, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And any good high-performance coach you come across worth their title would say similar. Now let's take a closer look at why you want to change your programming. Any lack of peace, any dip in happiness or performance, any mental emotional distress, any absence of motivation or money or confidence or even satisfaction, all the little details in between can all be traced back to or resolved within your subconscious. And guess what, guys? Even your partner's cheating on you, or people treating you like your second choice, or not getting picked for baseball, all those come from programming deep down in your unconscious. Again, feel free to argue with me in the comments. You do not live in a vacuum. We are all interconnected. Another episode on interconnectedness coming soon. So every time you thought you were not enough, every time you were scared or shy to fail, or every self-sabotaging pattern, hesitation, every time you thought, I can't do that, and every depressed, anxious, or critical thought you have ever had, all come from the programming in your subconscious mind, 100% guaranteed. Anger, sadness, grief, guilt, fear, hurt, shame, yes, all of it, you name it, all from the subconscious, which means it is beyond your daily conscious control. Anything and everything can be changed with the right tools, and it's important that you remember that. And the good news is when you know where the bullet is, it's easy to pull out. Which means once you have identified the problem, you just have to change the wiring. That's it. Because much like kryptonite, once when you remove or release whatever it is that is limiting you specifically, aka the bullet, you will return to, or for some of you discover, your superhuman strength and be able to access that inner genius and superstar that exists within us all. An inner genius, which is unfortunately sometimes buried deeper in some people more than others, but regardless, it is still there. And if you have yet to tap into your self-actualized peak performance, superhuman state or abilities, and this inner genius I speak of has yet to reveal itself, then working with your subconscious in the right way will also 100% definitely, without fail, get you there. And I highlight when done well here because depending on the level that you are operating at, some of your results will be dependent on the practitioner that you're working with. So if you are seeking to work with a professional, that is, so make sure you find a good one because not every chef can cook, if you know what I mean. And I don't really mean to toot my own pretty horn here, but I really just can't help it because it's the noise I make when I speak. So let's take a deeper look at the facts. Cognitive neuroscience shows that up to 95% of mental processing occurs outside conscious awareness, making it unconscious. So pressure or stress, for example, doesn't create new feelings or behavior. It reveals what's already wired, which is programming at the subconscious level. No one made you do or feel anything, honey. It was there all along. Ultimately, if there is something that isn't quite right in your mind, life, relationship, or business, the first and best place to look is your mind. Now let's talk about refining the mind a little bit and what that means. So look at it like this. Your conscious mind is the captain, while your subconscious is the ship. While the ship certainly cannot go anywhere without the aid of the captain, which is more powerful, the captain or the ship? Even the most skilled captain cannot move a damaged ship. It is the quality of the ship that determines speed, endurance, and the most seamless and comfortable of experiences. You can command and steer all you want, but if the engine is misfiring, if there's a hole in the ship, or if you're out of fuel, you are not going far. But at the same time, the ship isn't going anywhere without the captain, which is where your skills, your conscious knowledge, your strategy, goals, and leadership all come into play. It is the design and the engine of your subconscious that ultimately determines how sharp, clear, resourceful, in control, fast, and happy you are. The conscious can only take you so far. Your conscious mind is responsible for logical thinking, decision-making you are aware of, planning, problem solving, language and reasoning, and short-term focus. Meanwhile, your subconscious mind, the area of expertise, is habits, emotional reactions, instinctive decisions, memory storage, belief systems, self-image and identity, stress response, automatic behaviors under pressure, how you feel to a large extent, and as well as all other automatic bodily processes like your heart rate, your digestion, metabolism, etc. So a lot, yeah? And all of these things downstream into your posture, your tone of voice, your gut reactions, your confidence, hesitation, presence, and mindset. All of the things that make up you being powerful, super powerful. Your subconscious runs continuously, even when you're not paying attention. It's a machine on autopilot. So not to mention, right, on top of that, processes, all of that, health, but we're not getting into that today. So the conscious mind decides what you want. The subconscious mind determines whether you actually do it and how smoothly, how quickly, and how well as how good you feel along the way. It can also make or break whether you achieve certain goals and whether you don't. This is why on a professional level, let's say, you can know what to do and still hesitate. You can have strategy and still sabotage execution. You can be intelligent and still feel blocked under pressure. And also why you can have it all, quote unquote, but still be dissatisfied, anxious, unhappy, or flat. Yeah? It's also why you repeat the same relationship or emotional patterns despite insight. It's also why you struggle to rest or to enjoy success once you achieve it, yeah? It's also why you tolerate situations longer than you should, then resent them, okay? Like not putting boundaries. It's also why you may feel driven but not fulfilled and productive but not satisfied. That being said, the subconscious mind is also impacted and can even dictate what you think and what you want, which is why many people make the wrong choices, yeah? So loneliness, for example, is a feeling that comes from bad wiring in the subconscious that can lead people to choose the wrong partner, where 10 years down the line, they are absolutely miserable, yeah? A deep-seated need for validation and approval can make someone chase success that later feels empty, when with the right wiring, they could have made similar moves and similar status and money in a far more fulfilling way. Okay, I hope that lands for you. Now let's look at what transformation can look like for you and the kind of results you can expect. First, I want you to understand something important. Absolutely no one is broken or beyond help. The right methods done in the right way will absolutely work for you. In many cases, even faster than you may think. Again, when done correctly. Every human being is designed to feel perfectly healthy and perfectly happy. You should experience, at a consistent basis, a continuous flow of joy and well-being that also leads to peak performance. If you do not, it is because there is a puzzle piece missing somewhere, which is great news because once you flip a few switches, you should then feel and function like a superstar, like a superhero, like a superhuman. And what that switch is and where it is unique to you. So when you make the appropriate changes at a subconscious level, by learning to communicate with and regulate your mind, your behavior, and your emotional state, and by slaying the demons that live in your closet, fundamental shifts will take place. Shifts that look like you go from being self-critical or from spiraling, looping, and anxious thinking, or even brain fog and congestion and depression, to waking up with a crisp, clear mind, clear thoughts, and a still and quiet mind. Like someone turned down the volume, which is clarity, ease, peace, and calm, a free and happy mind. A shift where you go from your colleague or child or wife or a potential date not giving you the time of day or listening to you or caring, where you feel disrespected and ignored and unwanted or unseen, to feeling like you are the most special and important thing in the world when you walk into a room. All eyes on you. And yes, shifts that big can happen. You can go from forcing results to allowing momentum and trusting that they happen. You can go from hating work or going to the office every day and procrastination to truly enjoying what you do and getting excited to do it, to sit down in front of your desk or wake up in the morning, to move on, okay, to that next big thing and feeling lit the fuck up. So not only have I seen it, but I've been there and I've seen it happen. You can go from dating losers to seeing that you are actually dating losers the entire time to believing you deserve an incredible person and relationship. Not gonna lie, guys, I've been there too. That's how I got here. It's also why I'm very single, because I know when to say no. So you go from worrying if everything will go wrong to feeling and believing that things are going well. You go from reacting to pressure and circumstances or people or comments and letting those things get you down to using or responding to them, which, by the way, is the root cause, one of the root causes of why many people are in rehab clinics and have heavy addictions. Yeah, and serious mental health problems a lot of the time comes down to these triggers and the reaction to them. Yeah, so that also means like bursts of anger become, well, nothing, moving on really, yeah? The shifts are truly endless and unique to the individual. So the right methods done well, because not every baker can make a tasty cake, you guys, work directly with the patterns that run beneath conscious thought that will affect things like the forces in programming that shape how you respond under pressure, how you regulate stress, how you access clarity, your baseline, and how satisfied you feel, how intrinsically motivated you are, and how much self-worth you have that helps you to want and to choose better for yourself, hold boundaries, and say no. Okay? And of course, how consistently you show up for yourself when it matters in your personal life, okay? Included. These are all examples. So making these changes doesn't replace intelligence or strategy or experience, but it does ensure you can actually use them reliably, predictably, on command. And if that isn't super strength and super speed, then what is? Being above the circumstances around you, where you can effortlessly dictate your own thoughts and behaviors, is practically superhuman. This is part of what it means to have mental mastery and metacognition, which are the highest forms of mastery and intelligence. So make sure you stay tuned for my episodes on those too, coming soon. NLP, for example, and I mean NLP when it's done right, not as BS superficial persuasion techniques, which, by the way, I have not once used them for. No. They have been linked to higher states of performance, cleaner execution, and more consistent decision making under pressure. So NLP is neurolinguistic programming, is one of the modalities to reprogram the subconscious mind that I use, although I use several, having worked with these techniques and in this field for over a decade. Coming on to 13 years now, I think. So if you want to feel like you're always bringing your A game and feeling and functioning at your finest, you're going to want to have to get your subconscious mind on board. And for this, we enlist the aid of subconscious repatterning techniques like hypnosis, neural conditioning, belief work, NLP, and somatic therapies, which are discussed in the upcoming episodes, neurosomatic therapies. All right, my darlings, so that is enough juice for today. In the next episode, Subconscious Superpowers 102, we will get into how your subconscious creates results and your behavior. So basically how your subconscious makes you behave a certain way, okay, going into the nice and nitty-gritty details, by looking at the PSBR framework, which articulates how your results are shaped by your behavior, which is shaped by your state, which is controlled by your programming, and the role your subconscious mind plays along the way. See you very, very soon for that. Take care.